If your child or one that you care for has health issues, such as physical disabilities, developmental disorders, or other challenges, preparing for hurricane season doesn't have to be overwhelming if you take it step by step.
Time and energy are in short supply for parents and caregivers of children with functional support needs. That's why it helps to make a plan one step at a time. What unique needs does your child have? For the next 2 days, make a list of all the things that you do and use to care for your child and keep them safe. Then go over the list and mark the things you must have to stay in your home for at least a week or more without power or any way to get supplies, including backup batteries, feeding supplies, and diapers or pull-ups. Visit with your child's medical team to get their input on what you'll need to be prepared. Their unique understanding of your family can be a big help in thinking through important planning questions like what dangers and benefits are there for your child in staying home during a hurricane? What plans should you make in advance to travel safely with your child should your zip code be evacuated? How will you stay in touch with the medical team while you're away? Ask your child's doctor about getting extra medications to keep with hurricane supplies and written prescriptions, including prescriptions for custom mixed medications and feeding formulas that can be kept with other important papers. Once you have your list of what you can't be without, start buying extras a little at a time so that the cost of being prepared isn't as difficult. Taking steps now to prepare for hurricanes is a good way to protect your family from other emergencies like flooding, power outages, and wildfires.
We can all use help, and teaming with a hurricane helper is a great way to be prepared.
Who can you depend on when a hurricane is coming? Who knows your family well and is able to help? If caring for your child has kept you from being with other people,
Hi, Catherine.
who can you team up with now so that you have support in a storm and help traveling to a safe place if necessary? Maybe it's a neighbor who can move a generator into place and get it started. Or another family from your child's clinic that plans to evacuate to the same place you do and is interested in sharing travel expenses and supplies along the way. If your plan is to stay home, what will you need from your list of things you depend on to be on your own for several days without running water or electricity? Does your child rely on electric-powered equipment or take medicines that need to be kept cool in the refrigerator? If so, what backup systems do you have for when the power goes out? Remember, in preparing for emergencies, think about what you must have. Do you need to power the whole house or just a window unit air conditioner, ventilator, and small refrigerator? If you have a generator, do you have the fuel that you will need and know how to use it safely? Practice with your family and hurricane helper. Talk about other support your hurricane helper can provide in a storm, including how to operate the equipment your child uses. Be sure that both your power company and local fire department have been told if your child depends on electricity for life support equipment. Don't assume that any agencies you depend on now will continue to help during a hurricane. Talk directly with the company that provides your medical supplies or nursing support to be sure that any assistance you're counting on will be there when you need it.
Sometimes staying home isn't an option. If your zip code is evacuated or being home without electricity or running water for several days will be dangerous for your child,
then have a plan ready
for when it's time to move to a safer location.
Mandatory evacuations for a hurricane are based on the risk of storm surge, severe flooding caused by water pushed on shore by heavy winds. So the closer you live to the coastline, the more likely you are to be evacuated. Know your risks. If it's likely that your zip code will be evacuated in a hurricane and you and your child will need transportation to safety, dial the 211 Texas United Way helpline today to register for free help.
211 Texas United Way helpline. How can I help you?
Registering for transportation assistance by dialing 211
Do you have transportation to evacuate?
was developed to help in other emergencies too, like wildfires, flooding, or power outages. So even though your area may not be evacuated for a hurricane, if you'll need transportation in a mandatory evacuation, it's a good idea to register today. If your zip code isn't evacuated, but staying home with your child won't be safe, make a plan now for where you will go and how you will get there. Talk to your child's medical team about what continued treatment your child will require while away and your best options for finding a safe place to stay. Emergency rooms and hospitals are not shelters. That's why it's important that unless your child requires emergency care, you have a plan for where you can go that will have the electric power and access to any medical care your child may need. Before you evacuate, it's important to know who you will count on when you get to where you're going, like the closest pharmacist or pediatric specialty center. Take time now to introduce yourself to them and to confirm that they will be able to access your child's updated medical history and prescriptions. Know what you'll need from your list to be safely away from home for at least 2 weeks, including items you rely on to comfort your child and help keep them calm. Seal medications and any medical supplies that shouldn't get wet into plastic bags. Important documents like your child's medical records, copies of written prescriptions, insurance and benefit cards, emergency health information such as allergies and physician contact information, and your child's treatment plan should also be stored in watertight plastic and kept where you can get to them quickly. Tags with your name, address, and phone number should be attached to any equipment that you'll be taking with you. Adding identification and contact information to the clothing of children who have difficulty understanding or cannot talk is also an important safety measure. Don't wait until the last minute to make a move. It's much better to give yourself plenty of time to get to safety. Will you travel with your hurricane helper? If he or she can't get to you, do you have a backup helper for traveling to a safe place? And if your zip code is evacuated and you'll need transportation, dial 211 today to register for help.
Most of all, have a support system you can count on now for when you need it.
Because we're better together.
Together.
Together against the weather.